1 minute on Maestro.
For hundreds of years, Kiss people have never had problems with Georgians.
Nata Borchashvili, Akhmeta District, Pankisi Gorge.
It has been the opposite. People would tell legends about the friendship and brotherhood of Kiss and Georgians. Despite the religious differences, it has never been a problem for our people to integrate with Georgians. We're bothered by what bothers Georgia in general, whether it's everyday problems or social issues. I think it's about the same in every region. And to speak up about it when you're a national minority can be a bit awkward sometimes. I see how much my people love Georgia, Pankisi Gorge, how much they love Georgian people, how much they would like to have relationships with them. In school we study in Georgian, we have a Georgian school. In most cases, Georgian people probably don't even hear about the love we express for them. We always want to say it out loud that we love this country and these people. The only thing we want is it could be equal acceptance from Georgian people, for them to accept us, our music, dance, tradition. Recently, there has been a fuss about the fact that our boys are going to Syria, trying to show courage and express heroism. But I'm sure if they were called in Georgia, not just one or two, but all of them at once would stand up and even sacrifice themselves for Georgia if needed. Carmen Mamadov, student, Tbilisi.
I think terrorism doesn't have a nationality, a homeland, or a religion. What terrorists do is that they don't differentiate a hard target from an easy one. The main idea of terrorism is generalization. We are making the same mistake as the terrorists. A terrorist doesn't differentiate the innocent from the guilty. We do the same. We blame everybody. We blame religion. We blame all Muslims. In this case, we're not any different from terrorists. Truth is, they're only using Islam as a shield to legitimize themselves. It works as a justification for them when we say all Muslims are responsible for terrorist actions. What happened in France, Syria, or Lebanon is a tragedy for all, not just some religions. The best thing to do would be to separate religion, Islam, from terrorism. Let's censure terrorism, but never associate Islam with the terrorists that violate and kill innocent human beings.
Aaron Charles, dance teacher, Tbilisi.
I've been here for 2 years now in Georgia. I really like it here. It's a really nice place, full of very great and wonderful people. But while I've been here, I've experienced a certain negative side of people here. In the time that I've been here, I've had a lot of incidences. Maybe not so many, but I understand that one is enough. Incidences on the bus, incidences in restaurants, people talking to me, people saying bad things to me. For me, coming from a place, London, we don't have this kind of problem there because a lot of people from different countries are from different cultures and everyone mixes together. There is one race only in this country, in this world, you could say, in the whole world, only one race. That's the human race. So my skin shouldn't make someone feel uncomfortable, happy, sad, whatever. It's just a color of someone's skin. My soul is the same as your soul. Everyone has a soul. Everyone is human race. That's all. My message to people is respect others the way that you want to be respected. I don't want to look at you in a bad way and then you look at me in a bad way. Two wrongs do not make a right, you know? So just respect people and love people. More love, more smiling, more happiness.
We are at the Royal Bathhouse. This bathhouse was the first one they built in Tbilisi. A lot of people used to come to this bathhouse. Presidents, prime ministers.
Ali Galakhverdo, bathhouse attendant, Tbilisi.
Deceased Badri Paturkatsishvili used to bathe here. Old-time people. Khrushchev, Malenkov, all of them. I'm a bathhouse attendant. It's a very, very old profession. Being a bathhouse attendant is a sacred thing. Normally, a mother bathes her child, cleans him or her with foam. A few years ago, the ambassador of the United States took a bath here. When I covered him with foam and started cleaning his body, he was surprised by all the dirt that came off of his skin. He said I shower 2 or 3 times a day. Where did all this dirt come from? He grabbed the sponge from me and started shaking it and looking at it, seeing if the dirt would be coming from the inside of it. If a true Tbilisian doesn't bathe in sulfur water, he's not a Tbilisian. He'd better not claim to be one. Sulfur water is very healthy water. Nowhere else in the world you'll find water like this. Our bathhouse, how can I say it, is really the royal bathhouse. We have a nice hallway. After bathing, you come into a nice corridor. You can sit down, have some good tea. It's a whole different feel. It makes you younger. You get to feel like you push the tiredness out of your body, almost as if you were reborn.
It was difficult to pick an important topic for just 1 minute.
Rusudan Gotseridze, Evangelical Baptist Church Bishop, Tbilisi.
I think what I would like to concentrate on is that I really don't like to use terms of minority or majority, which emphasizes that for some reason quantity matters. The bigger amount of people tell you it's like this, the more you would believe so. As if it's impossible for you to be the only one being right while having a different opinion from tens, thousands, or hundreds of thousands of people. That's why I think having an opinion based on numbers is very unfair. History has shown us that these so-called only ones have been the ones to spread the truth. Nobody knows who in what situation is the minority or the majority. I'm a religious minority, but an ethnical majority. Gender-wise, no one knows if women are a majority or a minority because is it about quantity or authority? Based on my nose size, I'm a majority in Georgia. Also, based on my hair color. Based on my lack of knowledge of baking a khachapuri, I'm probably a minority. And the list goes on and on. I don't think it's worth putting people in quantity boxes. I must be valuable being me with this faith, this thought, this hair color, this nose, this thinking, this lack or feature of skills. So let's not use terms of minority, majority.
Recently, a lot of people are having an opinion that becoming close friends with Europe puts Georgian culture and uniqueness in danger somehow.
Shota Dirmelashvili, journalist, Tbilisi.
I've always been wondering what the definition of the word culture was. Based on the Bagrati Cathedral and Haishi situations, it looks like we ourselves stopped caring about our culture and uniqueness. But this isn't culture. Culture is not something that has happened once. Culture is movement and everyday life. What do we see every day? We see trash, we see big vehicles parked on sidewalks that make it hard to walk, and move around, not only for disabled and elderly people, but perfectly healthy human beings. We see mutual disrespect. We see a parade of uncivilized people on May 17th. We see a member of parliament punishing a writer. And even worse, an MP interpreting a writing. A war between politics and culture. It's important for us to know that Europe is not just a political alliance, but a cultural one too, and without culture, it doesn't need us. But obviously political alliances do. Alliances of the non-free world. The Eurasian Union, for instance. Those countries, those empires that are purposely working to destroy your culture. If we look at European countries, we won't find any that are similar to each other. On the contrary, identities and specificities are more likely to be cultivated there. In return, all countries of non-free, enslaved people are very much alike. This is the dilemma we're having. I'm choosing Europe. Our yacht club exists thanks to the administration of Sukhumi.
Konstantin Stradilov, manager of yacht club Sukhumi Abkhazia.
It's a quite expensive sport. We own an Olympic sport boat, which costs about $20,000, at least $18,000. They bought it for us so that kids could practice. Therefore, there's huge interest, especially during summertime. There's lots of people here. About 50 people always come. Interest will increase when they start competing. Even if they lose, they'll learn what they're not good at. Or if they win, they'll brag that they won on a boat like this. It's obvious who's good for what on water. Those who are no good choose to leave immediately because it's boring for them here. I have a dream that they would buy a big good yacht someday for the administration of the city, and our kids would sell it and give others a ride too. Someone will find it interesting that there are sail yachts here. I want this yacht club to have up to 20 or 30 yachts, and for half of them to be ours, Abkhazian. I'm not saying they will be Suhumian. Let them be Abkhazian. From the beginning, Pangaea was one continent. The strong tectonic wave has created a deep cleft, which became filled with water. That's the lost city of Atlantis. With the civilians of the glacier stitch of Caucasus, or the refugees of that time, Iberia of the East, Svans are the earliest ethnicity of the Iberian Caucasian. Georgians translated the letter, and all Caucasian ethnicities became one nation. Every field is extremely interesting, especially linguistics, etymology, and semantics. Grammar, syntax, and morphology don't interest me as much as etymology and semantics do. How a word gets created, how it lives, and how it evolves. I've gotten into mystic. The Holy Bible says, in the beginning was the Word. I say in the beginning was the sound, the vowel. It might sound a bit dangerous, but I have studied history and prehistory so deeply that I believe the miracle of miracles is building a Svanetian tower from spring to fall in such a short period of time. A cross can be found in a higher place than this, with a population this compact. There are 400 towers and up to 700 Svanetian houses. Every tiny place here has been baptized and has a name of its own. In 1 minute, if I told you about my life, I couldn't fit it into 1 minute.
Maxime Machaidze, Tbilisi.
I'll either have to fit it into 2 seconds or I'll be needing more time. I have no spare time because I'm always doing something. I'm painting, writing, making music, reading, cutting, drawing, breaking, building. I'm remembering that there are a lot of crows here. I guess that's why I love crows and Christmas trees, because I've been looking at them my whole life. I always think they must have their own code like samurais. Just like they had Bushido, crows must have a code of their own, I believe. I love the roof because it's the only way to get unattached from Earth. It's calm here. It's always calm at the top. Even on the street, if you look up, there's a totally different space. A whole different world. There's nothing interesting left down there. There's more up here. I don't know. You should live by today, not yesterday or tomorrow. Living by today makes everything easier and more right. That's it. I don't know. They blocked the roads for 3 civilians.
Simon Mekarishvili Dwani.
They put up a wire. Used to be our road. Now, you can see, they were made to destroy their own houses and left outside. Because it's coming this way, behind our house. They made it to the field. Now they're going to come down here, of course. Where should we go? I don't know. The ceiling is filled with holes. I want to change the roof, but I have no money. How am I supposed to afford it? I'm poor and have no way of income. There's no more water in the field. We can't even water our gardens or the field anymore. Now they even took the field from us. I have 2 sons. My daughter-in-law is from Tbilisi. She got scared after what happened, so she took the child and went back to her mother's. I'd rather die here than live somewhere else. I can go anywhere. I must die on my territory. I want to be buried where my father, grandfather, wife and child are buried. I'm not planning on going anywhere. You're in a close relationship with the nature here. It makes life easier, despite hard living conditions. During the last few years, there have been so many changes. So much has changed. The mountains have changed for the worse. Kind of. Kefsurian villages have started being more like Georgian villages of plain. The way of life we had, the way I remember, doesn't exist anymore. There were way more people, first of all. You didn't ever have to leave the village. You could solve every problem on the spot. There was a time period, the communist days, when they got us used to being taken care of by someone. Part of people today still are expecting for someone to show up and start doing things for them. If we keep thinking this way, we'll never achieve anything, but lose ourselves. We already have lost ourselves quite a bit recently. We have turned into cardboard people. Our bodies and souls have become separated. They're both wandering on their own. And it seems like we're becoming more and more out of touch with the nature, with the universe.
I would like to use the opportunity to talk about my former school and say hello to them. Odobaya, I love you.
Nanak Varaya, Public School of Koki, math teacher, Samagrelo, Koki.
I worked there for a long time. I never was a local there, but I had a crazy love for that place. My former school is located on the occupied territory of Abkhazia. I had a special permit which was allowing me to cross that broken down bridge. I've walked through water, sailed on a boat, I've done all of that. But unfortunately, ever since they legitimized the so-called border, I haven't been able to go there. It's been over 2 years. I work with my childhood friends here. I'm very comfortable, but I miss that school so much. It was the place where I pretty much developed. I first went there as a kid and left all grown. You have to see what's happening there. It's a different environment. Kids grow up different. The kids here are unattached from the real world and locked away in their own. I miss my teachers, Mrs. Nanuli. I miss you so much and wish to come to your school again at least one more time.
If my voice reaches anyone,
Robert Idoide, Tusheti Dartlo.
they can solve any problems. Of course, just like every worthy Georgian, I wish for peace, no confrontation between each other. I wish all the altercations would end, and the nation would stand together so that we could save Georgia together. I'm dying for Georgia to come together as one and have peace. Peace first and foremost. There's no more cases of crossing the border illegally, like they used to do back in the day from Russia or Chechnya or Dagestan. This doesn't happen anymore. So there can be an unsolved problem. First and foremost, there has to be peace, unity, process of rebuilding, and we can't lose the mountains. Let's keep the mountains, this unique nature, and everything will be all right.